Sad Brad searches for space mad bad dad in the future.
That's cinema, baby.
No, Mr. Wilson. I don't have to take that kind of talk from anyone.
That's right, you don't. How about going outside and trying to kick me around?
I'm not supposed to fight with the guests, Mr. Wilson.
I'm not a guest tonight, you yellow bastard. I happen to be an intruder.
Greetings, Earthlings, and welcome to The Good, the Pod, and the Ugly, a film podcast where we cover a creative's works by doing what we have called now a temporal pincer movement, going backwards and forwards through their filmography until we reach the gooey middle. This is Thomas.
I'm Ken.
And I'm Ryan.
And this season, season 16, we're covering James Gray, and we are 4 films into an 8-film filmography.
Woo!
Covering Ad Astra, 2019.
It is paired with last week's film, which was 2000's The Yards.
The Yards.
And in 2019, if you went to the theaters and want to, I don't know, listen to our podcast that hadn't existed yet, you could have heard us cover, that doesn't quite make sense, but we've also covered from the year 2019 these films. Ready or Not?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was during our wedding / birthday episode.
Yeah. Okay, that was fun.
Yeah. The Beach Bum?
Yeah.
Harmony Korine, or one of our 4x4s.
Mm-hmm.
Color Out of Space. I think we covered that. Ryan and I definitely watched it in the theater.
Mm-hmm. So did I.
Love that one.
And Richard Jewell.
Never seen.
Mm-hmm.
Many other Earthlings have never seen that. So, like Ken said, last week we covered the year 2000 film, The Yards. This year, this 2019 Ad Astra, these 2 films have 2 things in common, including my inability to speak this episode. They both have in common that James Gray co-wrote them.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Oh, there's probably more things. Let me see. Someone falls and dies. Not uncommon for a James Gray film. Someone's hiding. I think in both there's a knife attack. There's definitely a train in both, if you count the thing that's on the moon in Ad Astra as a train.
Yeah, I would.
They get him again between places.
Uh-huh.
Somebody unlawfully trespasses, and this leads to a needless killing.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah. And both The Yards and Ad Astra, a guilty person is made into a hero.
Mm-hmm.
And in both, somebody is sent to kill someone, but instead runs away. And perhaps most interesting for the conversation today, both were released to theaters with a cut that was not James Gray's final cut.
Mm-hmm. And both were, I believe, completed shooting a couple years before they were released.
Oh, is that right?
A lot of post-production issues.
Huh.
Wow. I'm curious about that, but I'm going to put a quick pin in it just to say this is our first film of the 4 that we've covered so far, where the film has received a Academy Award nomination.
Mm-hmm.
And that would be for Best Sound Mixing. It's also our first of 4 films that has a PG-13 rating. Everything else has been rated R.
It was PG-13, huh? Okay.
Yep.
Okay. What else was... I'm going to look this up. You guys keep talking.
Okay. Well, Ryan, how are you doing these days?
I'm good. I'm good. Feeling good.
Yeah.
Feeling great.
Yeah.
Feeling good. How are you?
Hey, how about this unseasonable weather we're having?
Yes.
You know, we record this podcast in the past from when you listen to it. And so some of the things we might say might not be topical today as you listen to it in the future from when we record it. We've tried to do it the other way, and it just doesn't really work.
No.
What, Ken, did you get the thing that you needed? Did we kill enough time?
No, I did not.
Oh.
Why is it showing me this? Okay, I'm looking up the Oscar nominations for the year Ad Astra came out, because I do have to say the special effects in this movie are top tier.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that it was not nominated is kind of concerning.
Okay. Well, we can talk a little bit, just you and me, Ryan, about the guy so nice they named him twice. Hoyt van Hoytema?
Yeah.
I don't know how to say his name, but
That's
we
right.
talked a little bit about him. Okay. We talked a little bit about him during a Nolan Void season or Christopher Nolan season.
Yeah, which movie did he do? Oh, Interstellar and Dunkirk. Oh, yeah, all of them.
He's the dude who can carry the IMAX camera around like it's a GoPro.
Yes. He also invented with Nope a new way to do day for night cinematography, which is central to Nope's incredible success.
Yeah, Double
Okay.
Hook's the best.
Yeah.
Ken, are we
so-
still killing time?
No, I found it. I found it.
Okay.
This is the Oscars suck. Everybody knows that, right? 1917 won. The other nominees for Best Visual Effects were Avengers Endgame. How well has that aged? The Irishman, which is probably the weakest part of that movie. The Lion King, which is just a cartoon.
No, it's animation. It's the live action one. They wouldn't have nominated the one from the 90s, Ken.
No. I mean, it is essentially a all CGI movie.
Yes.
90s. And then Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. Do any of those movies that you have seen have better special effects than the mostly practical effects Gray uses in this film?
I think there's a case for 1917. I didn't like that movie very much, but
Agreed.
I think that is the one on that list that for me is comparable.
And Endgame made $2 billion, so you got to throw it a bone, right?
But it has there are a couple shots of Mark Ruffalo in the hulky Iron Man suit that
And
are
Astra?
No, in Endgame that are just a crime against cinema. Like some of the worst special effects I've ever seen.
Yeah, I think those were in the
Guys, cut him a break. This is pre-COVID. This was forever ago. I was like in high school with that when we were talking about all this.
That might be a reason though why this movie was largely overlooked because 2019 was such a banner year for cinema.
All right. I think we're back on track.
James Gray. If you want to know what this movie is, James Gray said it's a little bit 2001. It's a little bit Apocalypse Now with a little sprinkle of Heart of Darkness, the novella by Joseph Conrad that is actually the basis of Apocalypse Now. So he's kind of adding the same thing twice.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the movie.
Yeah. Good job.
Yeah.
Well, it does have Two-Face in it. I'm sorry, Agent K. I'm sorry, Thaddeus Stevens. Who's been to space already in one of the movies we've covered during the Clint Eastwood era.
Yes.
Oh, and we might see him next season, hint, or sneak peek for our hack season, because he's in Volcano.
Oh, that's right.
And we're talking about my namesake, Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah.
TLJ.
He plays, of course, because they're dead ringers, Brad Pitt's Poppy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can
Space
do
Poppy.
So Donald Sutherland, Tommy Lee Jones, and then Lauren Dean were in Space Cowboys. There are photos of Tommy Lee Jones from Space Cowboys where they just changed out the patch on his uniform. So
really,
deeply indebted. And spoilers: the Tommy Lee Jones's ending is remarkably similar to his ending in Space Cowboys, where he kind of just puts off into space.
I thought, okay. For some reason, I thought you were going to say Brad Pitt flashes him and he loses his memory. Not flashes him like shows him his tits or his naughty parts, but the thing that Will Smith has in the Men in Black series.
Yeah, I know you meant the little pen.
Okay, just wanted to clarify.
Ryan, do you want to take a stab at the actual plot to this?
Yeah. So, as it says in the title cards, this is set in the near future, when humanity has done quite a bit of space exploration in our solar system. And Brad Pitt is an astronaut. Because of all the space exploration going on, that's kind of more of a blue-collar job by this point.
Just to clarify, Brad Pitt is playing a character who's an astronaut.
Yes.
It's not actually Brad Pitt.
So yes, Brad Pitt plays Major Roy McBride, who's followed in his father Clifford McBride's footsteps to become an astronaut. And at the beginning of the movie, Brad Pitt is doing, as the title cards also set up, humanity has become obsessed with trying to contact extraterrestrial life at this point in the future. And at the beginning of the film, Brad Pitt is working on a giant antenna that stretches from the surface of the Earth into low orbit. This antenna exists to send out signals to extraterrestrials and hopefully get them to respond. There is an electrical surge, and Brad Pitt falls off this space antenna back to Earth and almost dies.
What an opening.
Yes, an incredibly exciting opening. And then
Did you guys know he had a parachute?
I was assuming he would.
Okay.
Yeah.
OSHA.
Oh, and the message the giant antenna is sending out to outer space is, yo, you up?
Yes, basically. So Brad Pitt survives his fall back to Earth, and then he's called into a top secret briefing and is informed that his father, who has been on a space mission for 30 years orbiting Neptune, the farthest that humanity has been able to reach out into the solar system, and Dr. Clifford McBride is leading a mission to try and contact extraterrestrial life, with the idea that being out near Neptune, there's much less interference from the sun.
Mm-hmm.
The radio signals can go farther.
Mm-hmm.
So on this 30-year mission, he has inadvertently triggered something on his space station that is causing these electrical surges to pulse throughout the solar system. And if they don't figure out some way to stop these surges, the Earth will be destroyed. It will be catastrophic for humanity. So
they send Brad Pitt to the moon and then to Mars to be able to send a signal to his dad.
Yes.
They also send R.I.P. Kiefer Sutherland.
Donald Sutherland.
Oh, I'm sorry. Donald Sutherland.
Big D.
I would have swapped. Yeah. I
yes.
love Donald Sutherland.
Pitt sets out on a journey across the solar system to try and communicate with his father, which eventually leads him to Neptune. This all can be summarized, though, in one clear sentence. Sad Brad searches for space mad bad dad in the future.
And it's quite a journey to get there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of conflict. There's some stuff on Mars.
Oh,
there's sneaking on spaceships. There's
but even more than
primates.
that, Ken, even more than that, there's a lot of voiceover.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Internal monologue.
Brian Cox would not be happy. Especially given one of his students did it.
I have a lot of thoughts on the voiceover, but we can save that for reactions.
That was very clever, quoting one of my favorite movies there, Ken. I think
adaptation. I wish I had quoted the character he played, though. Is it Robert McKee?
Oh, shit. Who wrote Story?
Yeah.
On screenplay. Yeah.
Yeah. Charlie Kaufman is responsible for the voiceovers in this movie, and it was not James Gray's idea.
That blew my mind.
Are we sure that it's all the voiceovers? Are we sure that Gray didn't write any of them?
He did not. Well, yeah. I mean, it's just like, did Paul Thomas Anderson rewrite the Scorsese movie?
Right.
That there's nothing official about it, but
I only asked because, and we can talk about this now or later, but as you pointed out in your intro, Ken, this film is so heavily indebted to Apocalypse Now,
mm-hmm.
and the Martin Sheen voiceovers are so central to that film that it seems bizarre to me that Gray's initial vision had no voiceover at all. I can see how they might have added more, but I was trying to make sense of what this movie could be like in the director's cut based on what little we know about it, and it doesn't make very much sense to me.
Yeah.
It does feel kind of baked in. I mean, it never occurred to me that this was not part of the original film while watching it. There are other things toward the end of the movie, and then specifically the Liv Tyler stuff that, you spot a mile away. The Liv Tyler stuff didn't bother me. Some of the stuff at the end really bothered me, but the voiceover, it never occurred to me that it was not part of the original script or vision for the film.
Right.
So before we get to reactions, because it sounds like we're getting very, very close, I just want to put a little bit of this in context to be able to better understand this film, or maybe some of my reactions to it. So this film came out in 2019, and I'm just going to run very quickly. Moon came out in 2009, so 10 years before. Gravity 2013, Interstellar 2014, The Martian 2015, Blade Runner 2049, 2017. So this film seems a little bit like a Johnny come lately. Maybe James Gray was like, here, hold my beer. I'm going to make a space movie after Gravity came out. And then like, he was like, fuck, where's my coaster? No one's around to hold my beer. And it just like took a while, but it seems very odd to me with those preceding movies that he was like, yes, I still need to make my space movie. And this is what it's going to be.
I think
this is so distinctly different from those other films.
Yeah.
It reminds me, the closest comp I can think of is both in presentation and performance at the box office and amongst critics was Soderbergh's Solaris with George Clooney.
Oh, yeah.
Which I think is an excellent film, but which was a total failure.
Yeah.
But featured the same kind of internalized performance, dealing with a lot of personal issues in space. But perhaps what you're saying, Thomas, is why this was not successful.
Event Horizon, the other Neptune movie with a ghost ship. This has a ghost ship.
Yeah. And
closer to Mars, though.
And to your point, Thomas, one thing I read about this movie was it was originally set around Jupiter, but when Interstellar came out, they shifted the action to Neptune because they didn't want to be so closely related to Interstellar.
Yeah. Oh. Neptune is a great planet. It's gorgeous toward the end there.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I thought it was because of maybe like Disney IP from The Little Mermaid.
Yeah, and they completely bypass Uranus.
I thought of that while finishing the movie last night.
You thought of
Uranus?
I thought of my anus, and I thought of the planet as well.
Huh.
Wow.
It's not that long of a movie.
Think about my anus?
Well, I'm just thinking about needing, I don't know. You start to get hemorrhoids or something. I don't know what it's like to be an old man.
Yeah, I after we're done recording, I can give you some tips.
To becoming an old man?
To tell you what to look forward to, yeah.
I'm not going to be able to remember it for that long. Maybe write it down somewhere. Anyhow.
Okay, I'll put it in a time capsule.
I was on the phone with my dad this week, and out of nowhere, he just ran down the litany of health problems he has that he blames my grandparents for. And it's like a 2-page single-spaced list. It was incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Was it resting heart rate? One of them?
No, low resting heart rate, which Brad Pitt's character, Roy McBride, is famous for in Ad Astra. My dad does not have a problem with low resting heart rate.
Okay.
So, yeah, Brad Pitt's superpower here is remaining remarkably calm
which seems to be chalked up to compartmentalization.
But in early drafts of the script, it was moderately autistic.
Seriously?
Yes.
And I think that carries through in the performance.
I do as well.
I was very surprised when I read that detail that you sent me, Ken, but it totally reframed the movie for me in a way that really makes sense. Mm-hmm. Having a touch of the tism in my family as well.
And not having the narration, I think it would have been even clearer. Given his character's reaction to these insanely emotional and crazy sequences that this movie goes. The set pieces in this movie are fairly astonishing, particularly the moon buggy chase. Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah.
That's a pretty good chase.
Yeah, it's as good as anything in like Interstellar, which I think is like the high watermark for big studio.
There's no robots. No robots.
Fiction. There were robots in earlier drafts, but...
So one of the moments I do like is when they're leaving the moon and for voiceover, and Brad Pitt's character is letting us know that he envies these other people. I think it was like maybe 4 other people in the crew for just having, being whatever their job is not something kind of independent from them, and they have a life in their job.
Mm-hmm.
And they're taking mood stabilizers, and he's hiding his, he's pocketing his. That I thought that was an interesting counterpoise, like a note different than whatever the song's been so far for his character and the people that we've seen around him. For scientists, like scientists, fuck,
Yeah.
right? Like they got it together. They know they know who they are and what they want to be, and every day is a joy. Is the sense that you get.
One of the things, I don't want this to sound like a reaction, Thomas. Apologies if it does. But one of the things I do appreciate about the construction of this movie is how lived in the future is, where there's no real montage of introduction of how everything, like the nations are united in X, Y, and Z, and have somebody introduce what happens on the moon. They do mention the stuff with like the pirates on the moon, but that sets up a very important set piece. But everything about it seems really lived in, like the mood stabilizers. It's done as a fun thing. And I think one of the things I'm appreciating Gray, the writer, as we go along is having that stuff very subtly woven into his stories instead of modern exposition. For most movies, they would just come out and blah, blah, blah. This is what it is.
Yeah.
And it's all kind of built in, and it feels very lived in. Like the stuff from to the moon, with the things that the steward, or not the steward, the flight attendant offers him, and the costs, and all that stuff.
I didn't quite like that. That felt a little bit like, can you believe it? What they're charging on? And I do like that he doesn't blink at it. He doesn't go like, he doesn't scoff. And but on the other end of it, we have no idea what money means as far as. So it could be extremely cheap, right? It could be like it doesn't matter. Yeah, that was one of the things I bumped up against, to be honest. But I'd agree that there's plenty of small details that they don't feel like they need to explain that feel coherent within the world. By the time we're on the moon and there's a mention of the war in Antarctica that Brad Pitt's character was part of for 2 or 3 years.
He was in the shit.
That was maybe whenever I was like, okay, you can't put another hat on top of this. Like, there's a lot going on. Like it felt a little bit too much winky of like, there's really a big world around here. There's a lot of things that have happened.
I like all that stuff.
It's so
it was teetering for me at that point.
It's so fascinating to me, Thomas. And this is not meant as a criticism or anything, but an observation that, and maybe it's because of the overall subtlety of Gray's work, but with each of these movies, you're teasing out details that I think in a normal narrative would be relatively minor and maybe overlooked as being like
pertinent to the plot.
Sticks out as a sore thumb. You know, the melodrama and some of his earlier crime fiction that we've seen, and then some of these details you're calling out now. And again, it's not that I disagree with you.
Yeah.
Most of this stuff just washes over me, I guess.
So when I'm watching these films, and for the listener, if you haven't listened to the previous 3 episodes, you're not alone.
They're great. Go back and listen to them now.
Most people on Earth haven't yet. So very quickly to establish, Ken and I have never seen this before. Ryan, you have, I take it?
Yes, for the podcast, this was my 3rd and 4th viewing.
Wow. Okay.
Well done.
So for each of these, it's always new to me. I have no real expectations going in for what the film's going to be. This is the 4th Gray film I've seen ever, and it's all for the podcast. Same for Ken. I'm watching it wondering why I'm not more engaged as I'm watching it. And I think what it comes down to is, like, I see as just like 2 different dials of like gain, loss, and I don't know what the other one would be, but like I don't feel like he's turning the dials to the directions that I find interesting in these films. And so for Little Odessa, it's too much of a family drama mixed, like butting heads for a crime drama. For The Yards, it's a little bit too much of a melodrama that kind of also wants to be a crime thing. Like they're just not, the balance is off for me. And so that's why whenever I get to like the 5th instance in the first 30 minutes of like, oh yeah, there's more going on in the world. We'll always have that plague that went through the world. And that's why we're immune to this now. Like it's just one too many things that don't necessarily have to be said, that wink at a larger world, but It's just too much condensed for me, for my taste.
So, and again, I'm not at all trying to be argumentative, but that's fascinating to me because you think about something like Heat, where like half the movie is melodrama juxtaposed with crime, and that's considered a masterpiece. Or, I don't know how you feel. I don't remember how you feel about Interstellar, but I really love Interstellar. And like the first half an hour of that film is all about how global warming has tainted everything. And so there's just, to me, it seems like there's just something about Gray where you are noticing these details and like they're really taking you out of the picture.
Well, I feel like I'm already taken out and I'm looking for reasons why.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I had the complete opposite reaction to all of those things. I like them all. I like the fact that I didn't get a montage with like the Lord of the Rings, like the montage that opens the Lord of the Rings, which is great. But I feel like most movies, that's what they want to do. But it's just Brad Pitt's workaday life, taking a psych eval and then falling off a giant antenna.
and it's hard. Yeah, it's heart racing. And I enjoy that. I think what I don't enjoy is the voiceover.
Yeah.
And where the movie starts to want to go, being a daddy tale. And so that's also happening while these other things are happening.
Yeah.
So I'm starting I'm trying to figure out like why I'm bumping up against these other things. And so that's a little, I think that's one of the burrs in my saddle. Again, I wasn't out whenever the Antarctic stuff came on, but I was like, okay, this is getting very close to just, I need to say something to make something seem important versus moving on with the story. I think this movie does a pretty good job of waking you up occasionally with new stuff, like, oh, there's an abandoned ship. It seems a little outlandish that like that would be happening and that they would stop and do it, but that's the surprise, the jump scare in it is great. And a lot of the sequences are great. I think the larger part of I you know what? I'm going to put my cards on the table right now. Of every film I've seen of James Gray, this is my favorite.
I was just about to ask.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, this is probably second to me to Armageddon Time. But before we get too far, Pitt was originally going to star in the Lost City of Z. And
no, he's also going to do We Own the Night before that.
Oh.
And then this is the great missed opportunity of the 21st century that Pitt and Gray were going to do a film adaptation of The Gray Man, which was eventually directed by the Russo brothers, starring Ryan Gosling, and is a huge pile of shit. But James Gray working on The Gray Man is like, how did that not happen?
It's in the name.
I know.
It was too good to be true, my friend.
Yeah. It's a shitty story and a shitty book, so it would have been interesting seeing him trying to do like a modern espionage action movie. But
yeah, I wonder if Armageddon Time felt like it really distilled a lot of his core themes and his core settings and characters, but it also feels like a major setback. Like maybe he was trying to go for bigger swings.
This is interesting. The temporal pincer movement is that Ad Astra is a movie that almost broke him because of losing Final Cut and all the stuff that they changed, that he didn't even know if he wanted to make movies anymore. He was like directing opera on stage. Then, the Armageddon Time thing really brought back his love for film on that smaller scale. And that's why his new movie, the Paper Tigers thing with, who's in it? Scarlett Johansson, Adam Driver, and somebody.
Yeah.
Is about a couple of brothers, the Russian mafia, New York.
Hey,
really going back to what got him excited about making films. So
yeah.
But yeah, Ad Astra, this whole experience, he worked on it so long. His biggest movie, to have it taken away, to have voiceovers put on, to have some of that stuff at the end.
Also, I guess this is the first movie of his that we've covered that was profitable.
Oh, fascinating.
There's also the first movie that we have covered on this podcast to have uppercase fonts. He got rid of the E. Cummings thing for this movie because all the fonts in his first two movies and Armageddon Time are all lowercase.
Huh.
That's Font Corner. It's my weekly talk about the fonts used in movie credits. 30 seconds.
Font of knowledge. Okay. We're going to spoil some stuff maybe here because I want to. I've only seen this once. You've seen this 4 times for some reason, Ryan.
Because it's good.
Okay.
I think it's good, and we'll go into my crazy ass theories about this movie later. But I think this movie is good, and I think it's doing something that no other movie I've ever seen is trying to do.
Ooh.
Okay. Well, to that end, I actually watching this, I was like, you know what? I probably should watch The Fountain again. Because that film at least does something I've never seen a film try and do before. And I would find it more interesting than what I'm watching. But there's a moment that happens, and I watched this recently, and I don't remember what exactly happens, but there's a moment similar to Apocalypse Now where you punch the mirror and you're going crazy in the apartment before deployment, where Brad Pitt sneaks onto a shuttle that's going to leave. And doing so, he kills everybody on board. He then gets upset and goes a little crazy, but it seems like he's going crazy by deprivation, not because he just killed a bunch of people accidentally, doing the exact same thing that his dad.
Well,
his dad just apparently the rumor is that he killed everybody because they weren't doing what he wanted to do. This is even not as malicious, but has the same effect.
Yes,
and it doesn't seem like he cares about those people who have died. Instead, he's going crazy because he doesn't have somebody to talk to.
Well, he is going crazy because of the isolation. Some important differentiators there are Tommy Lee Jones's character straight up murdered a bunch of people, and Brad Pitt is like
keep the mission going.
Right.
It's not like he was killing people because whatever happened in Event Horizon, I don't fully remember. Sam Neill sees his future doing Jurassic Park remakes and kills a bunch of people.
Pitt's character is arguably responsible for the deaths, but all of those characters kill themselves or die accidentally. He doesn't actually. Brad Pitt's character is criminally negligent, but he doesn't actually murder anyone. And as he says in that voiceover, like everything that happened is on tape and history will decide. And I don't know how much of the ending was changed from Gray's original, but I think at that end, we do get a subtle note that history has decided that he did the right thing ultimately.
Well, I mean, he stops the stuff from happening, so
he stops the signal thing from doing the thing
that was making all the stuff happen.
Yeah. That really is the logic of it, right? Like, oh, the world's gonna end because of something. He's like, cool, I'm gonna take care of something. Goes and finds his dad. His dad's like, okay, and then his dad's like, I can't go back with you. And he's like, cool, I fixed the something, and I fixed my dad issue.
Yeah.
Yeah. The end. But there's a lot. It's also the people we meet along the way, Thomas. And,
it sounds like a road trip movie.
Well, I mean, that's what Heart of Darkness is. I mean, it's a guy. It's not a road trip; it's a river trip. But the guy. It's the guy looking for the guy, and he goes, and the same thing kind of happens to him. By the time he gets there, they're both kind of a little crazy. And based on that template, I in my Letterboxd review. Again, follow me on Letterboxd, Ken Coral. I said it's such a great template. I wish it would be used more because it could be used in comedy. I think I used in Ernest. Ernest Goes to Camp and stuff. If Barney was still around, we could do an Ernest Goes Up the River. Tyler Perry could do a Medea movie where she has to go. It's such a great template because you could literally put anything between the start of the journey and the end of the journey. It's the choices.
You've probably seen this film more than I have. But isn't that the plot of the Farley Brothers Kingpin or Kingpins?
You know what? You might be right. Yeah, I think it's
I didn't mean to take any wind out of your space sails there. But okay.
No, I think when they're looking for the third Mamma Mia plot, I mean, just use Apocalypse Now as your lodestar. Yep, Meryl Streep's still alive. She's going crazy on this island. We can only get there by a boat. Come on.
Sounds great. Sounds great.
Yeah. All right, hit me up, Mamma Mia people.
All right. So there's a lot of really cool stuff. I think you mentioned it already, Ken, like the practical effects. And I remember Gray saying during an interview, like, hey, a chance to put Brad Pitt on strings and like hang him upside down for weeks on end. Yeah, sign me up. And there is a sense, this great sense of like not having an up or a down whenever he's in the rescue operation for the down craft or the craft that has the distress signal that has the jump scare. Like that maze of it when he and the other person go in is great. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's really aged well. You think a movie that's almost 7 years, or was shot in 2017. So we're talking 9 years ago. It was shot. It still looks great. And I think the other movies on that Oscar list, fuck you, Oscars. A lot of them have not aged well.
No, yeah.
So it's another testament to just like Sir Christopher Nolan and Interstellar, that stuff is just going to still look good in 20 years.
Yeah, yeah.
Which was also shot, in 2014? So it seems odd to me that, again, that he decided to make this film after those other films came out.
Hollywood's a copycat industry. Interstellar was huge. Gravity was huge. That's why this movie got made.
Right.
Gray probably had it in the back of his mind to make this movie for a long time. And when the opportunity arose because other movies were profitable, that's why this movie was made.
Yes,
and it was profitable.
My understanding is that Gray and his co-writer Ethan Gross had been kicking around a 2001 style science fiction movie for a long, long time before actually writing the script for this.
And if there wasn't voiceover, it could be that. Like I'm fascinated by the idea of what Gray's cut would look like.
Me too.
Yeah.
So the Liv Tyler stuff was a reshoot, but Gray shot it, and he didn't necessarily have a huge problem with it.
So will you walk me through what that was? Or what that is when you say that?
Well, it gave Brad Pitt's character a tether to Earth. I think in early versions of the script, I think that thing I sent you, Ryan, his mother was a character.
Right.
And there was a mother-father-child dynamic, which in a James Gray movie, what the heck?
I know.
And then I think through various iterations of the script, that got whittled away, and then they realized they needed kind of something. So they said, hey, remember that movie Armageddon? With Tyler and Affleck? There it is.
I think the film needs, Brad Pitt's character is dealing with all of this internal battle about his preference for isolation, all of these ways he represses his emotions like his dad. So while I don't think the Liv Tyler stuff fits into the film well, I do think it serves the narrative to have a human, a face to directly connect Brad Pitt's problems to, the world at large.
And that's literally all she is a face. She has no dialogue.
Yeah. And that she is as hot as Brad Pitt makes it so like you immediately know how and why these two people are together. It makes sense.
I want to talk a little bit about Tommy Lee Jones and those scenes.
Okay.
Because I think whenever they leave the spacecraft, it kind of falls off for me. And I think one of the things I kept bumping up against is this feels a little bit like the same thing difficulty I have with like Saving Private Ryan, or there's a concern about narcissism in this film about the main character and creating the story around the main character that allows for the things to happen. But there is something magical, and I'm glad that they cut out ordering Chinese food and getting that delivered, eating it. Gray, I know it probably hurt his soul to do that because it's in every other film. But he's
when Brad Pitt inserts that tube for feeding, we don't know what's being fed into his stomach.
Yeah,
it could be Chinese takeout.
That's Kung Pao chicken in there.
Okay, I'll allow it. Go ahead and cover that on your bingo card. Tommy Lee Jones's portrayal of his dad just being, I guess, tired, exhausted by the journey, still wanting to have the fight, still fighting. That everything that's there is condensed down in a way that's, to me, very magical. It's something that it's a moment of cinema that I haven't seen a lot of instances of, and it works like a montage. We don't know how long they're together necessarily on that. I guess it might be a timer that's set on the atomic bomb, but it feels like a good amount of time is spent between them in a way that we can see them circling each other and trying to convince the other person through a certain amount of, on Brad Pitt's side, compassion, and on Tommy Lee Jones's side, like obstinance. But it's not conflict for like the sake of conflict or the two of them being very adversarial. It does feel like two people working through a situation in a way that like family might do it. That's constructive.
Yeah.
And you don't really see that in film. Like that's like it's close to Armageddon time for that in my head.
Yeah.
And so that's fascinating for me. And they leave the craft and it kind of all goes to hell. But
yeah, there was somebody on, I think, Letterboxd who was complaining about this movie, talking about Tommy Lee Jones being in space for 30 years, but he has a perfect haircut. It's like, shut up.
Yeah.
God, he has a Flowbee. There. I solved the problem. Now shut up and enjoy the movie. He doesn't have an eyebrow trimmer, though. I can tell you that.
There is, I 95% agree with you, Ken, but one thing that this movie does, it starts out very practical and like all the space stuff is like technology that could exist, that futurists have talked about, and it's pretty hard sci-fi. But as you get further out into space, those details kind of fall away. And I only bring it up in relation to Tommy Lee Jones's haircut because one thing I noticed on my fourth viewing was for all the time that Brad Pitt's traveling alone in space in the middle of the film, he stays very clear cut. And then when he's coming back from Neptune, by the time he lands on Earth, he grows a beard. And why he doesn't look messier on his way out? How is he able to get back from Neptune so quickly? Like there's a lot of the practical details kind of fall away as we get closer to the film's ending.
I thought that was just him becoming more of a human, less like becoming like by the end he's not compartmentalized.
Yeah, he's whole.
Yeah, which to me, I kind of want compartmentalization and stuff. Like, I don't want, if I'm out at the World Naked Bike Ride here in Portland, I don't want to get an erection. Like, there's compartmentalization that happens in the world to be professional or because of set and setting. Like, you change who you are at some level. And so I want my astronaut to have a resting heart rate of 55 beats per minute, whatever it was. Like, I don't really, like, and that he has to not deal with some stuff makes perfect sense. Like, I don't, but it's like the moral of the film is, I don't even want to, I guess, too closely, but it seems like they're saying he's dealt with trauma and now he's perfectly whole and he doesn't have to hide from things anymore.
Yeah. I mean, so one of the things that I think is going on in Ad Astra is it's almost like a spiritual sequel to Fight Club. I think this is really a movie about Gen X men and our problems, our inherited problems of being men, of being, emotionally cut off, distant, and that those are remnants of a time when like there was an idea of masculinity where John Wayne or a younger Tommy Lee Jones were the man, and that was cool to be that way. And one of the things this movie is really grappling with is like how to be a feeling person in the world when your example of like a whole human, a whole, your father figure quite literally is so distant and cut off from their own feelings and how it maybe suited them, but it no longer suits you, Yeah.
But it seems like it suits him really well.
Well, he's fucking miserable though.
Is he?
Yeah. Throughout the whole movie. I mean,
he says that he is.
I don't really see it. If you're, yeah, I mean, it's not like he's suicidal. If it were one of those things where it's like, yeah, Brad, we're sending you out to Neptune, you're not going to make it back. And he's like, fuck yeah. Then
So
that's a different character.
so and again, I've seen this many more times and probably like it maybe more than you guys or at least Thomas.
I think it's great.
Yeah. Leaving Neptune, when he almost does kill himself, he says, why bother? And he's floating out in space. He could just be subsumed like his dad is. Deciding to go back to Earth is the only thing of agency that Brad Pitt does in the whole movie. The rest of the movie, he's doing what someone else thinks he should do, and he's just kind of going along with it.
Yeah, I don't know. He does contradict orders to sneak onto the sneak onto the craft that ends up killing everybody on board.
Everybody,
That's crew. That's at Ruth Nega's suggestion.
True,
the director of Mars says you need to do that.
But somebody else suggested different, right? So it's okay, well then who do I follow? Like that's just, I don't know. It doesn't seem like he's just following orders. He's actually contradicting them and mutinying and killing people accidentally.
Mm-hmm. It's not that he's following orders with Ruth Nega. It's just that it's someone else's idea. She's like, it's your responsibility to go out there and fix the problem. And he's like, okay, which is how he deals with all of his orders. It's like, oh, all right, I'll do that.
I'm just going to say the worst thing about this movie, aside from like the worst visual moment or worst like movie moment, even if everything else was okay, is him with that shield going through the asteroid belt.
Yeah.
He should have done a kickflip. He should have just stood on it.
I thought that's where they were going with that.
It feels like it, right?
I was like, no, he's not going to ski that thing, is he?
That's funny.
I think visually the worst part of this movie is that weird flashback to a time he and his dad spent that's in completely different lighting.
Yeah.
And in a set that was not anywhere in the original ship that Tommy Lee Jones is on. And it's like, yeah, I didn't find anybody, but look at all these cool pictures, and you could download it and take it back to give his dad's mission some kind of worth.
Yeah.
And I think the beauty of this movie without that is that, man, we're all fucking alone. And this is all we got, But they try and make it, well, he didn't find anything, but it leaves it open that maybe he could have. Maybe we still can.
I feel like, in hearing Gray talk about the film a little bit, he really wanted to have a film that says we shouldn't look out to space. We should just look to ourselves.
Yeah. And where all we have is something Brad Pitt's character says.
Yeah.
And that's great. Sympathize with that. I can sympathize with that. At the other end of it, to the character that he makes, Tommy Lee Jones, in doing so, does seem mustache twirly or like a caricature. It's not played that way in the scene, but the idea of we shouldn't look for extraterrestrials or we shouldn't explore anything. We should just be here on Earth, not compartmentalizing anything, just all vibing, doesn't quite. I don't see that the film earns that, or that's really the film.
Well, Tommy Lee Jones's character has been out there for 30 years, obsessed with the idea that he was going to find. He's basically a miner up in the hills looking for gold, and it just never happened because it doesn't explicitly say it's not there. But 30 years. There's nothing there. Yeah, and I think that's an interesting story, and a story of like, okay, this person needs to come home now, right? Or this person, like, you've done your bit. But then to say, like, well, we searched for 30 years. The universe has been around for a few billion, but we searched for 30 and we didn't find it. Like, it just seems a little. It seems to be the moral of the movie. Well, like, if he didn't find it, then it's just not there.
I see what you're saying. I disagree about it, that being the moral of the movie. But one thing that I think is happening with this movie is as he gets closer to Neptune, the subtext really starts bleeding into the text. So we become very aware after he takes over the ship in the mutiny, leaving Mars, that he's really out there to try and figure out why he's so fucked up and why if his dad made him that way. You know, Brad, the destroying the electrical pulse that might kill the rest of humanity is like becomes totally secondary to Brad Pitt by the time he actually makes it to his dad.
Well, I feel like it's secondary before he even leaves the planet. And I think but maybe that's just because it's secondary to the film.
Yeah, that could certainly be. I mean, that's one of I think Gray or whoever ended up editing the final cut maybe, is really doing a lot of nebulous thematic stuff in the movie that does threaten the coherence of the work at large, if that makes sense. Like my big galaxy brain take on this movie is it's set in a 2001 solar system, very much aping Kubrick from the practical effects to the practical effects to the way you're introduced to this futuristic society and the attempt to use real hard sci-fi in fleshing out the details. So all of that kind of gives you a 2001 setting. And then we have several scenes in the film that are just blatantly aping Apocalypse Now, from his briefing meeting, where he gets the mission to go out and try and make contact with his dad. The distress call that leads to the massacre is a lot like when they search the riverboat in Apocalypse Now against Martin Sheen's wishes in that movie. In this movie, it's against Brad Pitt's wishes. And then when he's going over notes about his dad's career and how he ended up out there alone is very similar to Martin Sheen being on the riverboat and reading up on Marlon Brando's career and how he went crazy, all of which is setting up this generational interrogation where, as I said earlier, like Brad Pitt's character is trying to figure out why he's so emotionally fucked up. And he decides he needs to go to the root and confront his dad and see if there's any answers there. To me, those things are like parallel in the way the movie is presented aesthetically with all of these references to Kubrick and Coppola. I think Gray is also interrogating our idea of what a masterpiece filmmaker is and how these guys are Kubrick and Coppola are very emotionally unbalanced people, presenting like very insulated versions of the world within their films and going to perfectionist and crazy lengths, arguably like doing some negligent or abusive stuff with their casts and with their crew to achieve this grand vision, which is a lot like Tommy Lee Jones being out there being like, I am the most important man ever. I am going to find extraterrestrial life and essentially create the meaning of life or discover the meaning of life. And Gray, like Pitt's character, is wondering if it's all worth it. Like, is it worth, if you get to make 2001 and The Shining, is it worth being such a perfectionist, putting your family and your crew and your cast through these really hard circumstances to get to that diamond at the end? Or maybe it's all not worth it at all, and you should be at home with your fucking family enjoying life, That's
very generous.
Yeah.
I did say Galaxy Brain.
You shouldn't be fucking your family, though. That's just not right.
Well, no, maybe just your spouse. Should he go home and fuck his spouse? Good point. Or your first cousin. That's another way to go.
Charlize Theron.
Hard to resist.
That's flat. That's a from last week. The Yards. If eagle-eared listener is wondering.
Okay, and I guess the answer at some level would the answer be in the pudding? Meaning, like, if Ad Astra is a better film than those two films, then he's proved his point. Or if Ad Astra is just okay enough to watch 4 times for some reason, then it's okay and good enough's enough. Or like, what would you go with that?
Well, I don't think that this movie is as good as those other movies, and I don't even know that Gray would have aspired to make something better. Okay. But in for the 2001 comparison, like the transcendence that is achieved at the end of that movie is not found here, is not possible to find. There is no solution but us. And in the end, for this grand adventure to save humanity, Brad Pitt just wants to be able to save his dad and talk to his wife again. That's like, to Ken's point, that is the theme, is like, the exploring is not worth it. Like, tend to your garden and be happy where you are, because there is no grand answer that's going to make humanity or existence make sense.
I do appreciate that he's able to compartmentalize, and he has all the things that have happened to him so that he can go save humanity. That's kind of important to me. And if they resolve that stuff, because all of it's located in just being able to meet his dad again. And so he's able to resolve all of his other problems, anything that's ever happened in his life, any of his other hangups, any of his other composition or behavioral things, because he just needs to meet his dad, which he's able to do. And then, and it just happens. He also saves everybody.
The whole planet.
Except for those 4 people he accidentally kills.
Whoops.
Yes. For me, ever since the first viewing, I felt that like he really should have died out there, and that, or they could have done his return trip as an obvious like fantasy sequence,
a Taxi Driver.
Yeah, because I really don't feel that that the movie earns him, to your point, Thomas, like going back and actually getting to be a whole person in the world. That just doesn't. James Gray seems like a very cynical fella. It doesn't really jibe with his other movies that someone gets a happy ending. So whether that was a reshoot or something that they came to in development to make Brad Pitt feel better, it just feels off to me. So I totally agree with you on that point.
I think he comes back to Earth and testifies about the mood stabilizers and the grift there and how they was giving him sugar pills.
He's like, that's why they came at me. They were on this Prozac.
I guess and this is dumb, really dumb, but if it is if Brad Pitt represents Gen Xers doing this, really, like Tommy Lee Jones's character would have been a Gen Xer at the youngest.
No, he's too old. It's 100.
No, but he's going to Neptune. It's stuff that hasn't happened yet, right? So we should be at least 50 years into the future, it would seem. And society hasn't psychologically changed in that time.
Well, I think Ryan's talking more about a film set in the future that's commenting on something
on the present,
today.
Or the past. Yeah, I agree. It seems.
I don't know if I agree with that reading
it's
of it.
me not enjoying the film, trying to figure out why. And when I say not enjoying it, again, it's better than some films I have seen, for sure. And it is his best of the films that I have seen of his. And I'm looking forward to maybe having it topped.
One of the things that I like in movies often, Thomas, is when the subtext or the meta text, eats the narrative in front of your eyes. Like, I think the same thing kind of happens with Jordan Peele's Us, which is my favorite of his films. But there are some movies where the thematic concerns just start to override the narrative as presented, and maybe even break the movie and maybe that happened with you in this movie. But I always think that's fascinating when a movie's fixations become kind of the thing that the whole thing turns on.
Well, I think that I was hoping to watch The Fountain again.
Another movie where I think that kind of happens, and I appreciate that as one of my favorite Aronofskys.
I'm a fan of those kinds of movies too, because they can only come from a director deeply invested in the writing of the project. So they originated it. I'm not going to say auteur, because at this level of filmmaking, there was a lot of compromises made on the script to even get it made and get Brad Pitt in it, et cetera, et cetera. But there is something about some films at this level, written and directed by somebody, that are unique. And you can see it also in Interstellar, which I think has the big beat at the end the emotional beat, the love dimension. Thomas hates. We all love, but Thomas hates because he doesn't have a heart. But it reaches for like the cheap seats. And one thing about all these Gray movies is I do not think he's interested in reaching the cheap seats, and maybe that's why his films are a little in the background.
Yeah, I think that's
one thing I like about him, even though I wasn't a huge fan of The Yards. But I like that about him. It fits, the kind of movies I like. Bummers. Yeah. I love a bummer.
Well, and to your point in Interstellar, towards the end, of this incredibly hard sci-fi movie, one character literally says to another, like, you can't measure love with science. And that's the only justification offered in the movie for the love library.
It's fucking great. We're not going to relitigate Interstellar, but Thomas is wrong. We'll just leave it at that.
Well, listen back to that episode and you be judge and jury. Do we have anything more to say about this film?
I think if you're an action fan, the antenna thing and the moon buggy thing. If you're a horror fan, the ghost ship. If you're a
romantic.
If you're an espionage fan, then a guy sneaking onto a rocket ship and then getting them all killed. I don't know. There's a lot to love from a lot of different genres in this, and it's a piece of his toolbox I hadn't seen him explore before. Maybe we'll see it more.
Yeah, if you've only seen Donald Sutherland in Backdraft 2, the direct-to-video 2020, they made a sequel, same writer, not of course same director. Yeah, watch this film and then go watch Invasion of the Body Snatchers. He's really cool in that.
Yeah. That's Donald Sutherland in serious. What's weird? Some of these actors, I was thinking of Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt has two modes. Like we talked, Kevin Costner has two modes. It's the funny, sexy guy, the kind of outsider sexy guy, and then it's the dead serious guy. Those are his two notes. Brad Pitt, as good as he can be, is not dissimilar from that. He has his funny roles, mostly as a supporting actor, but a lot of times as a lead actor, he is just like, no jokes, no winks, no fun. And in this movie, I think it works to the benefit of the film overall.
And that's the other thing that where I think Solaris is a good comparison point, because Brad Pitt and George Clooney are making these giant sci-fi vehicles with the idea that they are important enough as movie stars that they could really drive these things to box office success. But when you leave them on their own, they just want to be sad and stare at their watch or whatever.
Well, I think that's the reason that Ad Astra made the money that it made.
Certainly.
But you can say otherwise. But I can only, and I think whereas like Interstellar made it off of being Interstellar, not because of McConaughey.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Okay,
and it's even as we'll see next week on the show or in 2 weeks. It's interesting that this is a bigger budget movie and had more success than The Lost City of Z, but The Lost City of Z is trying to be like an expansive epic that appeals to everyone. And even though it's much cheaper, it's more grand in a lot of ways, but much less successful than this movie was.
Next week is We Own the Night.
Yeah. If you didn't get enough of Wahlberg and Phoenix and The Yards.
And if you're a huge fan of Sons of Anarchy, the week after that, we got Lost City of Z. We're pairing those two up.
Yeah, we're halfway done. So at the end of this, I will have seen every Gray film. I've gone from 0 to 8.
That's true.
I've gone from 0 to 4. I haven't watched the other 4 yet, so you're ahead.
Oh, no. I will have gone 0 to 8. I've only seen the 4 plus the 70s crime film that he wrote but didn't direct.
And was that terrible or was it good?
Blood Ties is what we're talking, 2013.
Yeah.
It would be in my top 5 Gray films if I I would probably I would definitely put it ahead of The Yards.
I'm going to shout out to Letterboxd again, but I was reading about the Blood Ties like a couple weeks ago when we were first starting this, and one of the people reviewing it did not know it was written by James Gray. Apparently, according
adapted
according to their review. But then they said halfway through, this is just like a fucking James Gray movie. And they were not surprised to find out it was actually written by him.
Yeah, it's very co-written and adapted, if I remember right, from a French film. And yeah, it is heavy on the family. I think they get Chinese food at one point.
All right. I might have to watch that to get a fuller picture. And Ad Astra, the movie that almost broke him, Armageddon, my favorite, is the one that brought him back. So very important film in the gray filmography, Ad Astra.
Yes.
I would really love it if, and it's probably impossible at this point, it would be fantastic to see the director's cut, because
absolutely
it feels like it would be so much different, but at the same time, it's possible that I would like the theatrical cut more, which, considering how much the two films possibly diverge, would just be an interesting situation.
Okay, so the copy that I got from the Multnomah County Library,
shout out,
hard media on DVD, it didn't have any special features. It did have subtitles, unlike the Yards, as an option. I would have loved, just as an audio track option, to take out all the monologues, all the voiceover.
Yeah.
And just to watch the film that way and see how it feels, because I think it would feel a lot more like 2001 Space Odyssey.
Yeah. It would it'd be, yeah. Speaking of, I watched this via Peacock, the streaming service, and Peacock, you only have like 2 or 3 commercial breaks. That's really great, but your fucking commercial break volumes are at least they are so fucking loud. Like you're watching
really
a movie, you know, that Brad Pitt's like talking to someone, they're in space, like cool. Cuts to a commercial, and I swear to God, the dogs all perk up. I have to grab the remote to mute it. I think California has a law that these companies can't make their commercials louder than the program that the people are watching, and that's why these laws get passed, because it's fucking annoying. So fuck you, Peacock. Also, thanks for having this movie.
Also, if you're advertising on Peacock and you're a company that sells hearing aids, seems like you're just a good match.
All right. Well, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
Next week we'll own the night.
Next week.
Yeah.
We own the night.
You know what that makes
We
us
lease
together?
the day.
Together that makes us flash gorgeous.
Flash gorgeous.
I'm not talking at you. I'm talking to you.
Flash gorgeous.
I don't want to hear about you. I want to hear from you.
It's 10-4.
10-4, buddies. Destroy. Kill all hippies.
I don't hate it. I just don't know why you strayed from the formula.
You bastards! You don't know it, Bob. I'm an artist. And I must reflect that in my writing.
Fuck you, Oscars.
Dealing with a lot of personal issues in space.
All right, hit me up, Mamma Mia people.
If I'm out at the World Naked Bike Ride here in Portland, I don't want to get an erection.